Unbelievable twist. Millionaire CEO reveals incredible past to food truck girl after 10 years. Sarah stood in front of her food truck, Canyon Flavors, the sunset casting golden rays on the bustling street in Denver. The aroma of fresh-baked bread and savory grilled meats filled the air. In her late 30s, she was every bit the culinary artist, each gourmet sandwich a labor of love. After leaving her corporate job, she had poured her heart into this small piece of paradise on wheels. But today, she felt the weight of her struggles pressing down on her shoulders like an anvil. The lunch rush had already drained her, the wave of hungry customers ebbing away into the cool autumn breeze. As she cleaned up, glancing at the grateful faces of her loyal patrons, her heart warmed. Among them was Jack, a quiet man who frequented her truck at least 3 times a week. With his worn flannel shirt and kind smile, he was a comforting presence. But today something felt different. "Hey, Sarah," Jack said, stepping closer after the crowd had thinned. His usual easy demeanor seemed tinged with nervousness. He hesitated before lifting his coffee cup as if pondering whether to share a secret. "Mind if I join you?" She nodded, trying to shake off the unease gnawing at her chest. They sat across from each other, steam rising from their cups. Jack took a deep breath, his usual reticence cracking. "I have to tell you something. I'm not just some regular guy who loves your sandwiches." Her heart raced, a pounding drum in her ears. "What do you mean?" Jack glanced around as if the bustling crowd would somehow eavesdrop, then leaned in closer. "I'm a millionaire CEO. I made my fortune in tech." The confession hung in the air like a thick fog. "But I grew up as a farmhand. I haven't forgotten the sweat and tears it took to get here." Her head spun. A millionaire? He looked like the rest of them. The thought made Sarah's heart sink. Did his wealth mean she was less? The insecurity brewed deep within, twisting her stomach into knots. Hard work and passion seemed to mean little against a bank account. Was she, the food truck girl, just chasing something that wouldn't welcome her? Before she could hide behind her own self-doubt, Jack spoke up again. "Your food, it's not just about sandwiches. It's about community, resilience. It's powerful." Every word made her feel seen, even as the internal struggle roared louder. The coffee shop's chatter faded. Her thoughts spiraled. Did he see them as equals? Or was his penthouse lifestyle an invisible wall between them? Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let us continue. As darkness fell, the glow of the food truck brought warmth to the chilly evening. Whispers of their friendship began surfacing among the crowd, casting shadows over their interactions. A mix of admiration and judgment clouded the atmosphere. Would they accept the connection between them? On the edge of the local food festival, Sarah felt caught between fear and hope. When an angry patron challenged her worth, tension crackled the air. Would Jack step in, or would her heart be left crushed once more? This moment felt pivotal, standing at the crossroads of acceptance and isolation. Sarah's breath hitched in her throat. Would she rise to prove her place in this world? Or would the weight of ambition become too great to bear? The streets buzzed with excitement as the food festival kicked into high gear. Colorful lights adorned the tents, and laughter rang out amidst the tantalizing aromas of diverse cuisines. But for Sarah, the familiar warmth of the crowd felt stifling. As she wiped down her grill, the earlier conversation with Jack replayed in her mind, each word a sharp reminder of her self-doubt. The crowd thickened as night fell. A family approached, eyes glimmering with anticipation. "We've heard amazing things about your sandwiches," the dad exclaimed, his enthusiasm infectious. Sarah smiled, but it felt strained. Her heart wasn't in it. The earlier confrontation with the angry patron nagged at her, twisting her stomach. Then came the moment that made everything worse. A familiar figure, Alex, a local critic known for his biting reviews, cut through the crowd like a knife. He glanced at her food truck, a glint of disdain flashing in his eyes. "Do you call this food?" he bellowed, drawing attention. "It's South nothing but overpriced street slop." A hush fell over the gathering. Sarah felt the weight of the world on her shoulders, an ache so profound it almost stopped her breath. She had worked tirelessly, poured her passion into each sandwich, and here he was, ready to tear it all down with a few careless words. Jack was still nearby, watching with concern etched across his face. He took a step closer, ready to support her, but she held up a hand. This was her fight. "You're entitled to your opinion, Alex," she replied, her voice steadier than she felt. The murmurs from the crowd urged her to continue. "But this truck is about more than food. It's about bringing people together," Alex scoffed, cutting her off. "Please, spare me the drama. You might think you're doing something special, but what you're serving is just bland comfort food dressed up in a fancy wrapper." The laughter from the onlookers hit her like a slap. She could feel the heat rising to her cheeks, embarrassment mingling with indignation. A sense that what she had worked to create, a sense of belonging? Sarah squared her shoulders, refusing to back down. "Every ingredient here is chosen with love. I cook for this community, not for critics like you." The crowd began to murmur. Then someone stepped forward, an older woman from her regulars. "I know what Sarah's food means to us. It's real, it's genuine, and it's hard work." The tide began to shift. Others stepped in, defending her against Alex's onslaught. Jack took a bold step forward, his voice resonant. "This food wouldn't exist without the heart and soul she pours into it every day. You don't understand the passion it takes." A ripple of support surged through the crowd. Sarah's heart swelled with gratitude and a flicker of hope. Maybe she wasn't alone in this. But as the energy shifted, the uncertainty of her future loomed large. In that moment, applause erupted from the crowd, but she could still feel the shadow of Alex's disdain. What would tomorrow bring? Would their support last? Or was it merely a fleeting spark? As the crowd dispersed, Sarah caught Jack's eye. I appreciate what you did back there," she stammered, the weight of the moment heavy between them. He smiled, his confidence shining through the chaos. "You stood strong, Sarah. You need to believe in yourself just as much as we believe in you." But as she took a deep breath, she knew there were still mountains to climb and choices to make. "Do you think I can really overcome this?" she asked hesitantly. Jack leaned forward, his expression serious. "You already are. But I think there's more you can do." Before he could finish, a loud crash echoed from the main stage nearby, drawing their attention. The uncertainty of the night transformed into bewilderment, and Sarah's heart raced once more. What was going on now? "Let us check it out," she urged, pulling Jack along. What awaited them could change everything. As Sarah and Jack pushed through the gathering crowd, a thrumming tension filled the air. The stage lights flickered, casting sudden shadows as another crash echoed, sharper this time. People gasped, whispering in hurried tones, their eyes fixated on the chaotic mess unfolding before them at the edge of the stage area. A tall figure stepped forward, his sharp silhouette illuminated by the bright overhead lights. It was Ethan, the famous entrepreneur known for his billion-dollar tech empire and, more recently, for his philanthropic work supporting small businesses. He looked disheveled, a stark contrast to the composed persona that graced magazine covers. "Folks, I apologize for the disruption," he called out, his voice surprisingly earnest through the murmurs surrounding him. "But I have something important to say." The crowd quieted, curiosity replacing uncertainty. 7 years ago, Ethan began, his brow furrowed in concentration. "I was once in a place like this, a struggling entrepreneur trying to chase a dream. I had a food truck, too." Gasps of disbelief rippled through the audience. Sarah's heart skipped a beat. She glanced at Jack, who looked just as astonished. "Back then, I was laughed at just like many of you have been scoffed at today. My hot dog stand was ridiculed by critics and potential investors alike. It stung. But I pushed through," Ethan continued, his eyes scanning the crowd until they landed on Sarah. "And I believe in the spirit of community more than ever because that's what saved me. The people rallied behind me, and I found my strength through them. Sarah felt an unexpected kinship with this man, an echo of her struggle resonating within him. She could see the truth in his eyes. As he shared stories of late nights and empty wallets, the crowd hung on every word, seemingly connected to each other by their shared plight. "I want to help," he declared, raising his voice with determination. "So here's the deal. I'm starting an initiative." The crowd erupted in chatter. He held up a hand to calm them down. "A program to support food startups, like Sarah's. I'm offering mentorship, resources, and even a grant for this food truck to take it to a whole new level." The applause was thunderous, drowning out Sarah's surprise. Jack squeezed her hand in excitement, but the news set a fire of uncertainty in Sarah's chest. Was this really happening? Everything she had doubted moments before was being turned on its head. A part of her felt overwhelmed, like she didn't deserve this kind of opportunity. And then there was Alex, standing off to the side, his eyes set on Ethan. The critic looked furious, like he couldn't fathom the tide turning so dramatically in favor of the very thing he had tried to demolish. "Sarah," Ethan called out, beckoning her to the stage. "Join me. Share your story." In that moment she felt paralyzed. The crowd was looking at her, expectant and hopeful. Jack's encouraging nod pushed her to her feet. It was time to face her fears, and the cacophony around her faded. This was no longer just about her food, but about the community that had rallied in support of her. Taking a deep breath, she stepped forward. "We've all got a story," she began, her voice higher than she intended but growing steadier as she continued. "Every sandwich I serve isn't just a meal. It's a chance to connect, to create something special." The laughter from earlier seemed distant now, replaced by cheers urging her on. A part of her wondered what would come next. Did she really want her name connected with this man? But as she spoke, something shifted inside her. She felt the weight of her self-doubt lift, replaced by a sense of belonging, a spark of possibility. Today could indeed change everything. But just as she finished her thought, Ethan leaned in closer, a conspiratorial look in his eyes. "I know you've got what it takes. But there is something I need to tell you about my journey." A twist you won't expect. Her heart raced again, leaving her breathless as anticipation filled the air. What revelation could be waiting just beneath the surface? Ethan's expression shifted from one of excitement to something more serious. The crowd felt the tone change, a collective breath holding in the air. "You see, Sarah," he said, "the truth is, my journey isn't just about triumph over adversity. It's layered with moments that would have made giving up a lot easier." He paused, his voice steady, yet tinged with vulnerability. "I didn't just start with a food truck. Years before that, I lost everything. A failed business, a divorce, the works. I was sitting in my car one night, trying to figure out how to pay the bills after yet another setback. I remember the sting of failure like it was yesterday. I had nothing but the hope to start fresh. In that moment, I remembered the support from my community, how they rallied around me when I needed help most." Sarah's heart raced as she absorbed his words. She felt a kindred spirit in his pain, a mirror of her own struggles reflected back at her. Was Ethan as human as she was? Had he ever felt the weight of doubt that nearly crushed her? "And that's when I found my passion, how to bring people together over food." He smiled warmly, almost nostalgically. "Food was the magic. It became my anchor, and I can see that same magic in you. You're on the brink of doing something exceptional, but..." Sarah felt a twist in her stomach. Whatever was coming next stayed lodged like a rock in her throat. "There's a shadow in every light," he continued, leaning in closer as if sharing a secret. "A part of my journey that involves a betrayal from someone I trusted. It was someone close, someone who wanted my downfall. They didn't just want to beat me. They wanted to ruin me, and it cost me dearly." Her mind raced. Was Ethan warning her about something? In the crowd, she could see Jack's brows knit together in concern. He was as caught up in Ethan's story as she was, emotions painting their faces: hope, worry, disbelief. "Sarah, I just want you to be wary of the surfaces of who you trust. Sometimes they wear masks you don't see until it's too late." At that moment, she caught a glimpse of Alex. His face was tight, anger brimming beneath the surface. Was he the one Ethan was warning her about? The critic who had tried to dismantle her dream? Keep your eyes open, Ethan said, the intensity of his gaze locking onto hers. You have that raw talent, but you also have to protect it. Her heart pounded louder than ever as she felt the impact of his words. What could possibly await her in this newfound journey? Would there be obstacles, people who would want to tear her down like they had to Ethan? I will, she stammered, her voice stronger now. She wasn't going to be defeated. There was fire in her spirit. I have the community behind me, and I won't let anyone dim that light. The crowd erupted in applause, a wave of support washing over her. She descended the stage, filled with hope and fear, eager to learn about this initiative, yet wary of what could come next. As Jack stepped beside her, his eyes shining with pride, she felt a sense of direction tighten around her heart. But she knew Ethan's warning was still echoing in her mind, and as Alex stormed off, the tension in the air thickened. What were his intentions? Was he the betrayal lurking in the shadows? The thrill of the unknown beckoned. Sarah's journey had just begun, and danger whispered on the wind. Would she have the courage to face whatever storm was ahead? The applause still rang in Sarah's ears as she stepped off the stage, a tumult of emotions swirling within her. She caught Jack's eye, and his reassuring smile seemed to cradle her anxiety. But as she looked beyond him, her gaze landed on Alex, still fuming in the back of the crowd. The last thing she needed was his cold stare now, just as hope was blooming inside her. What were you thinking back there? Jack asked, concern lacing his voice. You were incredible, but it's a lot to take in. I know, Sarah said, shaking her head as if trying to clear a fog. Ethan's story is inspiring, but he's not the only one with shadows. I can't shake off this feeling that Alex is trouble. Maybe he's just jealous, Jack suggested, but his eyes betrayed his uncertainty. Either way, you won everyone over today. We'll navigate this together. Don't forget that. Sarah nodded, but the unease lingered, a weight heavy in her chest. They made their way through the dispersing crowd, laughter and chatter mingling in the air. Yet the atmosphere felt strained to Sarah. The excitement of her presentation was twisting into something darker as they reached the edge of the gathering. Ethan's voice called out from behind. Sarah. She turned, heart skipping at the sight of him. He approached with a cautious smile, a softness in his expression that was at odds with the somber undertones of his earlier words. I just wanted to say how proud I am of you. You've got an incredible spirit. Thank you, she replied, grateful but still a bit dazed. Your story was eye-opening. I could feel your passion. Passion can lead you to great heights, but it can also blind you, Ethan warned, his gaze intense. Please remember that. I will, she insisted, determined to embrace that fire. I won't let anyone dim my light. Good, he said, satisfaction flickering in his eyes. Just keep close those who uplift you, and stay wary of those who may not. You're destined for something big, but every path has its hurdles. Sure, she said, feeling a bit overwhelmed. I just wish I knew what to expect. Expect surprises. If I've learned anything, it's that the unexpected shapes our journeys more than we realize. As he turned to leave, Sarah felt a pulsing urge to ask more, but the words stuck in her throat. She needed answers but didn't know which questions to voice. The crowd continued to thin, and she felt the magnetism of doubt tugging at her, pulling her back toward Alex, who was now pacing apart from the group. Sarah, Jack called, drawing her attention. Let us go grab a coffee and discuss your next steps. Yeah, sounds good, she replied, torn. But she couldn't shake the impulse to confront Alex. Are you sure? Jack pressed, concern etched on his brow. Just give me a moment, she said, the expression of resolve slipping into her voice. I need to understand. With cautious steps, she approached Alex. Can we talk? His eyes narrowed, the anger still simmering beneath the surface. About what? Your little performance or how you turn everyone against me? Neither, she replied firmly. About this, whatever this is between us. I'm not your enemy. He crossed his arms, a defensive stance. You don't understand the stakes here, Sarah. You're naive if you think everyone is on your side. Then tell me. A charged silence enveloped them. The world around them faded, leaving only the pulse of tension that crackled in the air. Tell me what? He barked, frustration bursting like a balloon. That this could ruin us all? That in our little world, your dream could become my nightmare? Heat crept up her face. His raw honesty cut deeper than she expected. You don't have to talk like that, Alex. We can build something together. I don't want to build with you. I'm trying to survive. He spat, raw emotion rising. The fight between them felt unreal, yet electric. What did he mean? What was at stake? In this moment, a defining choice lay before her, a choice that could either forge a new understanding or create an unbridgeable chasm. Would she take the risk of opening up? Or would she retreat into the safety of her dreams? But before she could respond, a shout rang out amidst the din of the crowd, echoing sharply. Get away from her! Sarah turned, her heart racing. She had no idea how this moment might tilt the balance of everything she had worked for. The shout pierced through the noise, pulling Sarah's attention from Alex to the source of the commotion. A tall figure stepped forward, his features sharp and familiar, a man she hadn't seen in years, but had never forgotten. It was Tom, an old friend from college whose presence was both a beacon of comfort and a reminder of the life she had distanced herself from. His eyes locked onto Alex with a fierce protectiveness that made Sarah's heart flutter with confusion. Tom, what are you doing here? She asked, 1,000 emotions colliding within her. The worry in his expression was palpable, a stark contrast to Alex's simmering rage. Get away from him, Sarah. He has trouble. Tom's voice was strong but edged with concern. I can handle this, she replied, her voice steady, though her heart raced. Fear crackled in the air, enveloping them like a storm cloud. She took a small step toward Tom, trying to defuse the situation. Are you kidding me? Tom shot back, his gaze still fixed on Alex. I've seen what people like him can do. What do you mean, people like him? You don't even know him. Sarah's voice rose involuntarily, frustration mingling with the anxiety in her chest. She felt the weight of the moment pressing down on her, and the urgency to understand was overwhelming. In that brief silence, Alex shifted, the air around him charged with conflicted emotions. This is ridiculous, he muttered, looking between them. You don't even know why I'm here. I know enough, Tom countered, stepping protectively in front of Sarah. You're playing with fire, and it's only a matter of time before you get burned. Tom, Sarah said softly, her heart aching at the thought of this once-beloved friend standing against someone she hadn't given up on yet. Please just let me sort this out. Sort what out? His voice was almost pleading. You don't need to be caught in the middle of some messed-up game. Let us just go. A pang of hurt flashed through Sarah at the thought of leaving. She turned her gaze back to Alex, who looked more hurt than angry now. Tell me what stakes there are. Show me what you're afraid of, she demanded, her tone heavy with resolve. Alex hesitated, a flicker of vulnerability crossing his face. It's not just about you, Sarah. It's about everything. I've made choices to survive, and sometimes those choices hurt people. I don't want you to get caught in my mess. Your mess? Sarah echoed, understanding dawning. His guarded demeanor, the bitterness, was he just scared of losing her like he lost something precious before? She felt a rush of empathy mixed with resolve. We all have our messes, Alex. I'm not perfect either. The tension thickened again. Tom looked between them, anxiety written all over his face. This isn't just some high school drama. This is serious. You can't afford to get involved with someone like him. Stop. Sarah's voice clashed with Tom's, piercing the air. You don't get to decide that for me. I can choose who I want in my life. Can you? What if it costs you? Tom countered, his intensity refusing to wane. I need to figure that out for myself, she whispered, her heart heavy yet determined. An unexpected silence fell, as Tom's mouth snapped shut, grappling with her fierce independence. Emotions swirled around them, each heartbeat a reminder of the precariousness of their situation. Suddenly, a soft voice broke the tension. Sarah. It was Ethan. stepping closer with a wary expression. Maybe it's time for you to listen. Sometimes the hardest decision isn't about choosing sides, but about picking which battles are worth fighting. In that instant, Sarah felt a shift in the air, a realization that this tangled mess was more than just an argument. It was a crossroads, a turning point that would define her future. "Okay," she said, taking a deep breath, her heart pounding fiercely. "Let us talk, but we do it my way." As she looked between Tom and Alex, she could feel every gaze heavy with expectation. The simmering tension seemed to hold its breath, waiting for her next move. But just before she could say more, Tom pulled out his phone, the screen lighting up with a sudden urgency. "Sarah, you need to see this. What is it?" Sarah asked, worry creeping into her voice. "Just look," he said, his eyes widening, revealing a local news headline that sent chills down her spine. Her heart raced, dread pooling in her stomach as the room began to spin. What had she stepped into? As the words scrolled across the screen, one question loomed in her mind. Were her decisions really hers to make, or were they already written in the chaos that surrounded her? Her heart dropped as she read the headline. Unbelievable twist. Millionaire CEO reveals incredible past to food truck girl after 10 years. The words pressed down on her, each one more suffocating than the last. "What does this mean?" she murmured, almost to herself. The world around her faded into a blur. How was this possible? She had known Alex in a different life, a life filled with dreams and laughter. Not this shadow of danger that loomed before her now. "They're talking about you, Alex," Tom said, glancing at him with a mixture of disbelief and concern. "This is serious. The past is coming back." Alex's expression hardened, almost as if he was steeling himself against something. "Let it come," he muttered, defiance threading through his voice. But Sarah could see the flicker of fear in his eyes. "Let it come?" she echoed, her voice rising again, desperation seeping in. "Is that really your plan? Just let whatever is lurking in your past come after you?" "It's not that simple, Sarah," he replied, his tone urgent yet strained. "I've done what I needed to survive. The past is part of who I am now. Running 1T changed that." Tom shook his head, his frustration mounting. "You think this is just going to fade away? You need to confront it. Now, more than ever, before it consumes you." She felt torn between two worlds, one that knew of Alex's brilliance and warmth, and another that saw only danger. "Why didn't you tell me?" The hurt in her voice was unmistakable. "I thought we were in this together." "It's complicated," Alex said, frustration mixing with pain. "It's not you, it's me trying to shield you from everything I've done." Ethan's voice cut through, this time steady and calm. "You're not just shielding her. You're isolating her, denying her the choice to be by your side. Everyone deserves to know the truth." Sarah turned to Ethan, her heart racing. "What do I do?" she asked, her voice trembling slightly. "This changes everything, doesn't it?" She looked back at Alex, who now wore an expression of wounded vulnerability. His back was against the wall, but so was she. This wasn't just about decisions anymore. It was about the very fabric of their lives unraveling before them. "Maybe you need to decide if this truth is worth the risk," Ethan suggested softly. "There's a reality where knowing everything could either tear you apart or bring you closer together. But what if it's too much to bear?" Sarah whispered, her emotions swirling like a tempest. She could feel her heartbeat in her throat, each pulse a reminder of the weight she felt upon her chest. "What if it changes how I see him?" "Truth has a way of revealing itself," Tom stated, arms crossed tightly in front of him, brows furrowed in concern. "You'll have to be ready for whatever comes next." With a sudden insight, a question popped into Sarah's mind, as if it had been waiting in the wings. What if their lives were more intertwined than she'd ever guessed? Was their connection merely coincidence? Or was there something deeper at play? Are we more than just past and present? She challenged Alex, her voice sharp yet filled with hope. "What if this is the moment to rewrite our story?" Just then, the room fell silent, her words hanging heavy in the space between them. Alex opened his mouth, and for a heartbeat, the world turned still around them. But just as the weight of his response began to break through, the sharp sound of a door slamming echoed down the hall, interrupting them and pulling their focus. Sarah's breath caught as she turned to see who had entered, her instincts kicking in. What new surprise awaited them? The door swung open with a force that made Sarah jump. In walked a figure cloaked in familiarity yet wrapped in a shroud of unease. It was Mia, Alex's estranged sister. Her expression a tempest of emotions that quickly captured the tension in the room. "What's going on?" Mia demanded, her brows furrowing in confusion as she took in the sight of the three of them standing together. The lingering tension felt like a thick fog, pressing against them all. But it was the mounting dread on Alex's face that sent a chill through Sarah. "Honestly, we were just," Sarah started. But Alex stepped forward, his voice a deliberate shield. "Mia, you shouldn't be here. This doesn't concern you." "Not concern me?" Mia shot back, incredulity radiating from her. "You think I don't care? You've kept me in the dark for too long." "I saw the headline, Alex. Everyone is talking about it." Mia's voice cracked as she spoke, and for a moment, Sarah caught a glimpse of the unsteady bond between the siblings. 10 years had conjoined their lives and torn them apart. Seeing Mia now felt bewildering, like an unexpected ghost crossing their paths. "You two need to talk," Tom encouraged, stepping back as the emotional weight shifted toward the siblings. "Whatever is happening, it's a part of the past you both need to face together." Alex started, but the words faltered in his throat. "No. You can't just brush me aside like you did the last time we spoke. You might think shutting me out is helping, but it's not. You think you can manage everything alone?" Mia's voice rose in urgency, and Sarah could see the pain echoing in her eyes. "You put on this facade of being a success, but your past is haunting you. We both know this." Sarah stood by, feeling the walls close in as the turmoil surged. The depth of Alex's burden washed over her like a tidal wave. She had thought the truth separated their worlds, but instead, it seemed it was entwining them all closer together in this very moment. "Mia, I am scared," Alex finally admitted, his voice a whisper. "There is so much I've done, so many choices I made to get where I am, and I thought I could keep you safe by keeping you away. I didn't want you pulled into my mistakes." Mia's anger melted into empathy, and it was clear the years apart had only grown their understanding of each other. "You're not a monster, Alex. You never were. But running from your truth, it won't save you. It's time to face it together." The room seemed to pause, the air thick with unresolved emotions. The weight of unspoken words hung between them, threatening to spill over into either hope or despair. Sarah felt herself at the center of a swirling vortex of familial ties, lost potential, and unresolved fears. "Maybe we all need to face the truth," Sarah interjected gently, her voice steadying. "Whatever is lurking in the shadows, let us confront it together." As the three of them stood in silence, contemplating that fragile yet overwhelming notion, Sarah couldn't shake off a nagging feeling at the back of her mind. What if confronting the past didn't just threaten to bring them down, but revealed something far greater? In that moment, a glint of determination sparked within her, and she whispered, "Are we strong enough for this journey?" With a shared glance filled with uncertainty and resolve, they all noticed the journalistic chaos outside with reporters ready and waiting. Sarah's heart raced. They were on the brink. What would they uncover in the depths of their intertwined histories? The looming question echoed loudest of all. Were they ready to dive into the truth, no matter the cost? Mia stood there, her eyes darting between Alex and Sarah, searching for understanding in this whirlwind of emotions. "What truth?" she asked, her voice trembling slightly, as if afraid of the answer. Alex took a deep breath, his chest rising and falling with the weight of everything he had kept locked away. "The truth is I've made choices that have hurt people. I thought I left that life behind, but it keeps creeping back." "What do you mean?" Mia pressed, urgency peppering her tone. She took a step closer, the distance between them narrowing as if the physical space could lessen the emotional gulf that had existed for so long. "It's about my past work. You know, I was involved in some questionable things." Alex's words were hesitant, as if each one might unleash a floodgate of secrets. And recently the media found out. Now it's all resurfacing, and I'm scared of what it means for both of us. Mia's face paled, a ghostly wash of worry. What kind of things? You can't just drop that on me, and he has been working with dangerous people. Sarah interjected, her voice a mix of compassion and urgency. They're out for more than just secrets now. You need to understand, this isn't just about Alex anymore. This involves you too. Eyes wide, Mia's gaze flicked back to Alex. What have you done? She whispered, her voice cracking as she realized the magnitude of his confession. I tried to protect you. I thought if I shut you out, you'd be safe. Alex was pleading now, his frustration boiling over, desperation clawing at his words. I thought I could fix it all before it got to you, but I was wrong. I should have told you sooner. Mia stepped back, the revelation hitting her like a physical blow. You dragged me into this without saying a word, she exclaimed, almost hurt. You think I wouldn't understand? I've been in my own hell trying to deal with your absence. Maybe we should focus on what's coming for us now, Tom suggested, always practical, but even he seemed caught in the emotional storm around them. The reporters, the stories they won't let this go without digging deeper. We need a plan. The thought stung like ice water, an unsettling reminder of the outside world. Are we really going to pretend we can keep this quiet? Alex asked, pacing slightly, his hands running through his hair. What if they find out about things I've kept hidden? Things that could ruin us all? The tension in the room thickened again, like treacle weighing them down. You need to trust us, Alex, Mia urged, the fire of her earlier anger now cooling into something steadier, more resolute. Whatever it takes, we'll face it. Together. Sarah watched them, heart pounding. She felt the history wrapping around them like vines. But it was more than just familial ties, it was resilience. A testament to survival in the face of chaos. Okay, then let us figure this out, she said, her voice stronger now, ignited by the shared commitment in the room. The uncertainty still loomed, but now it felt like they could navigate it. Together. Maybe we can bring the truth into the light before they use it against us. We get in front of the story, Tom offered, his eyes reflecting strategic determination. Even amidst the looming shadows, hope glimmered. But what if that exposure leads to more danger? Sarah asked, biting her lip, anxiety twisting in her stomach. Alex turned to her, eyes burning with a mixture of fear and something more profound. I guess we'll have to find out together. I won't run anymore. As they stood there, huddled against the chaos waiting just outside their door, the faint murmur of reporters carrying on the street seemed to grow louder, drowning out their thoughts. Sarah felt the weight of the moment pressing against her chest. How would they face the reckoning ahead? Would the truth bring freedom or unleash something they could never contain? Are we truly ready for what's to come? She whispered, her heart racing as they prepared to confront the approaching storm. What lay ahead was uncertain, but one thing was clear. The battle for their lives had only just begun. As the sun rose the next morning, casting a new light on the chaos of the previous night, Sarah stood in front of her food truck, heart racing. Behind her, Jack's presence was steady, unwavering like an anchor amidst the storm brewing within her. The air felt charged, filled with the promise of something monumental. She glanced at the crowd beginning to gather, faces both familiar and new. There were whispers from the locals, conversations buzzing about the events and revelations unveiled under the spotlight. Yet, as the minutes ticked away, fear gripped her. Are you ready? Jack asked gently, his voice soothing her nerves. Whatever happens today, we're in this together. Taking a deep breath, Sarah nodded, determination igniting within her. The weight of yesterday's shadows still loomed large, but she would face whatever came next head-on. Today was not just about her food. It was about revealing the truths that intertwined each of them, unmasking the facades they had crafted to shield themselves from the world. As Ethan arrived, his presence commanded attention. He stood tall and confident, ready to step into the fray. We need to address everything head-on, he stated, looking at Sarah, Jack, and even Alex, who stood to the side, his expression a clenched mix of anxiety and defiance. You can't hide from your history, Alex, nor from the truth. Mia, now reunited with Alex, took her brother's hand, a silent gesture of solidarity. No more running. If we're going to build a future, we have to confront the past. A soft breeze fluttered in, rippling through the crowd as Sarah stepped onto her food truck, microphone in hand. The chatter faded to silence. All eyes locked on her, anticipation building like the rising tide. We've all kept pieces of ourselves hidden. But from what I've learned recently, it's the scars we carry that connect us to one another. She began, her voice wavering slightly before gaining strength. This food truck isn't just a business for me. It symbolizes resilience and community. It's a place where we support each other. And today, I'm standing here, not just as a food truck owner, but as someone ready to embrace the truth. The crowd listened, breaths held, a palpable energy coursing through them. We've fought battles, faced critics, and endured our own shadows. But we must unite, she continued, shouting above the murmur of nodded agreement and concerned whispers. Ethan is offering us support because he believes in the spark of possibility wrapped within each of us. But this means we have to lay everything bare. We're in an honest world now, no more hiding. Turning to Alex, she felt a weight lift but also a tether pull her closer. She looked him in the eye, not with disbelief or resentment, but with understanding. Whatever you've done, whoever you've been, that doesn't have to define you anymore. We can redefine our story together. But we need to be aware of the consequences of our past decisions. Yeah, Alex interjected, his voice shaky but resonant. I'm guilty of hiding my true self. And now, I see how that's hurt not just me, but my sister, you, and even the community I once sought to protect through isolation. I want to do better. The crowd shifted, and Sarah felt an uneasy wave of empathy ripple through. Here they stood, all the pieces they once tried to navigate separately, now converging to create something powerful. What if we gather these stories? She proposed, heart racing with daring excitement. What if we share not just our victories but our struggles as well? Together, we could start a movement and initiative to help small businesses, to inspire others who might be battling their own shadows. A wave of applause erupted, the crowd responding enthusiastically, voices rising in shared enthusiasm. Jack was right there, promoting her ideas, beaming pride that lit up his eyes like the morning sun. Let us film a video, let us share it online, Ethan suggested, a confident grin on his face. We can amplify the support and bring awareness to the struggles we face as a community. Can we really do this? Sarah asked, tears pricking at her eyes, joy intertwining with disbelief. Yes, Mia shouted, stepping forward, uniting herself with her brother. We will do this for each other and for everyone else who needs it. Together, they connected in a circle of determination and courage. As hands clasped and unresolved fears dissipated in the air, Sarah felt the weight lift from her shoulders. Today marked a turning point not just for her food truck, but for herself, for Alex, and the family they were reclaiming. With renewed hope swirling around them, the crowd rallied behind their leaders, a tide of enthusiasm rising as a coalition formed a powerful collective pushing against the naysayers. Amidst it all, Sarah realized they would face hurdles, but they would do so as a family. They had risen from the ashes of their fears, transforming misunderstandings into communal strength. And as the camera began rolling, capturing the moment that would ignite hope not just among them, but beyond the horizon, her heart soared. It was time to shape the narrative, and she was ready to take the leap. This was the moment they had all been waiting for, and nothing could dim the light they had collectively ignited within each other. Sarah smiled brightly, a beacon of resilience reflecting the dawn of a new path ahead. Now it's your turn. Subscribe immediately to the channel so you don't miss the next exclusive stories. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm. Every click counts. Comment your reactions and feelings about this amazing transformation. And don't wait not even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need inspiration. You need to support this channel. Only true fans will understand the importance of these actions.